F.3, preparation for problem category mapping. In this one, finally, we need to connect these two objects, problem object and category object. So we want to make one-to-one mapping. All right. This one, we just do some preparation. The main task, work part, so we will leave to next two videos. All right. First, create prob cat relationship table. Here, as I mentioned before, there are two types of tables usually in a typical business world. We need to describe the entities and relationships in the business world. So we have these two types of tables: entity table and relationship table. Relationship. All right. Entity table, we have a problem and a category. We have two entity tables. But what is the relationship between these two entities? So we need our third table, relationship table. But here, I want to make a small comment. Some student may choose to use the, do not use the third table. For this project, for our simple version, it is okay. Because for some students, they may do in this way. In their problem table, other than the PID content, they may then add a CID. How about that? CAD or category ID, CAD ID. All right. So they add a third field. The third field, they can put category ID number. So 132, things like that. Then you can just use this table to get the problem category relationship. But here for the walkthrough videos I use to show you, I want to show you the special table, relationship table. Relationship table. So basically, when we have a problem ID and cat ID, so you know the meaning. But in order to establish relationship, we create a primary key, internal primary key, let's say PCID. In that way, this one row established the relationship between these two entities. So that is the method we use in my demo, in my sample project. Here, I may like to compare these two ways a little bit. This way, very limited, because you can only do one-to-one mapping. One-to-one mapping, right? Each problem you can only assign to exactly one category. For this simple version, so we do that. The reason is we want to make it as simple as possible. But for the real world situation, usually people allow each question is assigned to more than one categories. To reflect the real world, what people really like to have, want to one-to-n relationship is allowed in the real world. Now you can see this relationship table, we can do that. We can do that. The same, same problem ID, can we map to, for example, problem 1 map and category 1 mapping, problem 1 and category 2 another mapping, right? It is allowed because here we use different PCID, right? Yeah, PCID 1, PCID 2. So no problem. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. So you can see now this relationship table has some advantage in the real world. All right, so let me just stop here. Let me show you the table. The table name, I just use prob_cat. Yeah, a very simple name, so you know its meaning. Yeah. Sometimes people may put a mapping after it. Sometimes people may put association after it. Yeah, because, many different ways. But here I just make it as simple as possible. All right. Yeah. So here, this is the definition of the table. So you can see the PCID, that's the primary key. PCID, internal. Yeah. External, we do not need to show it. Right? Yeah. Internal PCID and auto increment. So we do not need to assign any value to it. Yeah. So the DBMS can generate its value automatically. Yeah. Then problem ID, cat ID, yeah, default 0, but we need to provide these two values when we create a new item, new relationship. Yeah. All right, so next, let us work on the DAO part. Because this is a new table, so I like to create a new DAO class. Yeah. All right. Yeah. But just a minute. New DAO class, right? Yeah. All right. So here, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, this should be changed to prob cat DAO. All right. So I forgot to change it. Prob cat DAO.java. So let us create this new Java class. In it, we need to have first prepare statement. Add prob cat. Add a new role, insert statement. The definition of insert statement, pretty straightforward. This table name, parenthesis, these two fields, then 2 question marks. We need to pass 2 values for these 2 parameters. Yeah. Then the query method, we're familiar with things like this. So the 2 parameters, PID, CID, after we pass to this method, we assign to 2 question mark parameters. After that, we just execute update. Yep. Although insertion, but we use update. Both update, insert statements, we use this execute update method. Yeah. All right, so that is the first part. But there is one thing we need to make sure when we do this insertion, it is correct. So what do I mean? Because there is a possibility. For example, if one problem is already assigned to a category, we do not allow a new role inserted for the same mapping. Yeah, same mapping. So before we make this insertion, we should check if there is already an assignment. Okay? If there is already a problem, category, assignment for the current mapping, right? Yeah. So that's the logic. So, oh yeah, still, it should be in the prob cat DL class. All right. So we need to create a prepared statement object called has prob cat. How about that? Has already. There is a relationship or a mapping between these two IDs. So that first we need to check it. Yeah. PCID. We want to see if there is a valid PCID from this table where prob underscore ID equals the given problem ID. The category ID equals the given category ID. If there is one, don't do the insertion. All right? Yeah. So we need to have our query method to return that PCID. Yeah. Return that PCID. Yeah. Initially, PCID equals 0. So then we assign PID, CID to those two question mark parameters. Then we execute a query, right? After the query, we want to check if we can get a return result that contains some role, some relationship, some mapping. Yeah. If there is one, then we change that PCID value, yeah, and this method returns that PCID value. So the next time, we just look at this PCID value. When we need to do the insertion in a servlet, yeah, later we need to do insertion in a servlet. Yeah. At that time, then we need to check this PCID first. If it's not equal to 0, then we should not insert it, right? We should not insert it. Yeah. Here, just let you know something, when you design your application, so you should really pay attention to your data part. Yeah. Here, the data part. Yeah. All right. Next, the last thing for this preparation. All right. Yeah. So what we need to do in the list. Yeah. But here in the list, as I give you in my instruction file, yeah, instruction file for F.3, yeah, I put a pretty long table. Yeah, it's pretty long. Yeah, but here let me explain the main part, main changing part. Yeah. So other parts relatively easy. I do not need to explain, but this part is the main part. So basically, let me draw the diagram. Yeah. For example, each row we have one math question display, right? Each row one math question. Yeah. All right. Question 1, content. Yeah. So then here I change the table. So I put a category drop down list. Then I put a button here. So each question I do things like this. So you can select category, click the button to make that mapping, to make that association, to make that assignment. Yeah. So that is the GUI I use here. All right. So let me show. First, when we display the problem here, I like to change our order way. Our order way is for each loop, Java code, Java code away directly, right? Yeah, scriptlet. Yeah. But here, in order to make that JSP data display more convenient for us, I changed from that standard Java for each loop to JSTL for each loop. JSTL for each loop. Yeah. Why? Because more convenient. So here you can see after I make that change, it is more convenient. Yeah. Because here, we used that before. Remember when we display a list of categories on top of the table, we did that before. So you saw it. Yeah. Here, I make it for the problem. Remember, the attribute name for our problem list, this one, problem list. Here, we use EL, dollar curly braces, we put it in items attribute. Then var, VAR, I use this name, current problem. CRT, problem, current problem. Yeah. Then inside it, when I need to display problem ID, I use dollar curly braces current prob dot PID. How easy, right? Here you can see after we change to JSTL, we can use the EL expression to get the data from our Java Bean properties. How easy it is, right? Much easier than the old way. Yeah. So that's the first reason. Second reason, you will see another very good reason. All right. Yeah. So then, you display the content. All right. Yeah. The content also pretty straightforward. Then I need a drop-down list for the category. Select. I use select element, drop-down list category. All right. Yeah. So inside it, I use another for each loop. So you can see nested for each loops. Yeah. All right. So the category information. Then I use C:choose. Multi-condition JSTL tag. Yeah. Now you will see the importance why I want to change to this JSTL. When we compare the condition, yeah, the current problem .cid, yeah, the current problem .cid. Later you will see I add a CID property to the problem Java Bean. In my servlet data preparation, I will, actually, in another place, I will show you next time. In another place, we will, at a certain place, we will add, if this problem already connect to a category, we connect them. When we pull the list of, when we prepare list of problem data, we also look at the CID part. How about that? If it is already connected to some category, so then we add that information in our problem Java Bean. That will be more convenient. Okay, yeah. So here, this current prob.cid, you can assume we have it. All right, you can assume we have it. If a problem is not connected to any category, it's 0, right? It could be 0 by default. Its value is 0. So this comparison is still okay. So now you can see the reason I switched to JSTL for each loop, because we can use this dollar curly braces, this type of comparison. Very convenient. Very convenient. All right. So if the problems category equals equals the current selected category. Yeah, the current selected category. Yeah. Later, why we have current selected category? Later we have a feature. When we select the category, when we select, oh yeah, just a minute. Yeah, all right. Yeah. All right. Yeah, we're not there yet. Yeah, select the category. That's our later feature. Yeah, we will have that. But here, not a selected category, the current category ID, right? Yeah, because the problem that you already assigned to certain category, you want to show it. You want to show it in the list. All right, you want to show it in the list. Yes, yeah. All right, yeah. So that is the reason. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So here the logic. Yeah. I mean, because this step, the code, already related to the later features. Yeah. Already related to the later features. Yeah. So at this point, probably you need to use something we will do in the next two videos. Then you can understand these two better. Yeah, because here in the situation, we assign some of the problems to some of the categories. All right, we already assigned them. Yeah. All right, and after that, then we have the logic here. We have the logic here. Yeah. All right. So then this part, because this is too long, so I take this ... here. Yeah. That is the button part. We need to click a button to make the association, to make the assignment. Yeah. Here, we need to call this JavaScript function. Pass this problem ID parameter. Okay? Yeah. All right. So here, that is the main part of the data display table. Main part of the data display table. Yeah. Although we can do code updating, but at this point, we are not ready to do the testing. Why? Because the data preparation is not ready. Look at that, data preparation. Do you think it's ready? Right? So the data preparation part, not ready yet. Yeah. So that's the reason we need to delay the testing. When we, get a lot of things fixed. So then we do the testing. Yeah. All right. So I want to stop the explanation here. Yeah. Hope you can understand as much as you can. Yeah. For this part, you need to use our later part. Then you can get better understanding. Yeah. Here, because I did the later features, then I come back to fix this part. So that's the reason this part involves something in the future we will do. Yeah. All right, so let me stop our video F.3 right here.